Hello to everyone watching us online. I would like to notify you that we're going to start 5 or 7 minutes late. So please stay with us and we'll start soon. Okay, so I guess it's time to start. First of all, I'd like to welcome you all and tell you that this meeting will be completely in English. Not only because our speaker today doesn't understand or speak Russian, but also because this IT talk is being streamed to other DataArt locations. Especially I know that in Buenos-Ayres they've promoted the stream a lot. So hello to everyone listening. I hope my English is okay. Today we're going to talk for around 40 minutes. Please feel free to ask questions. But when you do, raise your hand so that I can give you a microphone. Because otherwise your question will not be heard online. So it won't be nice. I guess Nicolas will be able to tell about himself better than I ever will. So please welcome him.
Hi everyone. Thank you for coming. I know usually you are used to technical speech, so this is not going to be technical at all. Let me introduce myself a little bit about husband, father of Valentina, Benjamin. I'm a software engineer by career. I started as a developer around 15 years ago. And as a child started programming very early. I joined DataArt 3 years ago via an acquisition of a company I was working from Buenos-Ayres. Right now I'm Delivery-manager in the travel and hospitality practice vertical in DataArt. And below are some of the clients I'm involved in. Part of my accounts, it's One World Alliance. Maybe some of you know about it. So it includes British Airways, Iberia, those airlines. Hotel Tonight, this is a startup in San Francisco. It's quite a big startup doing very good job, and we are helping them. Unfortunately, cannot tell you what we do for them due to confidentiality, but it's quite interesting. And I cannot tell you about the third one. I'm gonna talk about the project, but cannot tell you the name. If I tell you the name, I cannot tell you what we are doing for them. So sorry about that. So next slide. So why I'm here in Odessa? I'm Delivery-manager of this confidential client, and we are a big team, around more than 30 people right now, and we are distributed. This is the topic of this talk. We are distributed on most of the locations DataArt has offices. It's US, UK, we have people in Argentina, in both of our Russian offices. We have people in Odessa, Lviv, Kherson, Kharkiv, Kiev, not Dnipro yet, and Poland, both Lublin and Warsaw, if I pronounce correctly. So we've been working on this project for more than a year, and it's good for people to meet their faces when they are working in the street. So I'm going to talk about that in a bit. We are also, what we are doing, why Odessa? So we could have gone to other cities. So Odessa has a big port here. Our client has presence in Odessa port. So as a team, we are going to do a tour, and the client will receive us, and we will discuss specifics of the project and see in real life what we are helping them to solve, the problems we are helping them to with our solution. And what better than going and sitting in the real world? Sometimes we are behind the computer, just coding, and having a sense of bonding on what you're trying to solve in person. It's not very common. So we have 20 people here that came from different parts of the world, and we are going to go to the port and see how they work and how our solution is going to help them. And so it's pretty rare and uncommon experience. So we are quite excited about this, and of course meet people in person from the project, from the office here, which we interact regularly. And by the way, this is common in DataArt, something we do on a regular basis with different projects, etc. Most of the projects are distributed, and we try to regularly meet and have the people meet each other and travel. So this is really nice about it. So a little bit about the project. So this anonymous client, confidential client, is the leading service provider in the marine industry. Basically, say you are a vessel owner, companies like Exxon, Shell, Maersk, with big vessels going from one port to the other. Every time a vessel is on a port, you need to provide a lot of services. So from chartering them once they arrive near the port, until a berth and a terminal, loading and unloading of their cargo. Could be containers, could be oil and gas, it could be chemicals or other stuff. And it's a pretty complex operations and industry. And so why complex industry? So how you provide all these services to these companies in 1,500 ports around the world, each port with its own regulations, its own laws of the country or even the region, and the complexities of providing all that, and dealing with people in different languages, different tax regulations, cultural differences, etc., etc., etc. It's quite complex. I'm going to try to give a few examples of the craziness, complexities. And all of these processes right now, most of them are done in a manual way. Basically, a lot of email communication, back and forth. It's crazy. It's crazy. And so the amount of errors and problems and delays, etc., they have due to this quite significant. So there is a lot of room for improvement and automation, and that's our project. So we have been working for them for a year now. Our roadmap is for 2 to 3 years more, so it's quite big and interesting. And nobody in the industry is doing what we are doing, so the plan is to be the first one and disrupt a little bit the market. The good thing is we own and we are managing as DataArt the full life cycle of the project. Okay, so it's not a typical team augmentation type of engagement. So we are trying to get from the initial, discovery and what we call solution design to define what the product is going to be, what the solution is going to be, to work with the client very closely in first understanding the industry. So, very complex and not common industry. Nobody knows really what happens on a pod. It's not something you see on a day-to-day basis. So it takes a lot of time to really understand how complex, and also this is a company that was founded almost 200 years ago. So and the maritime industry is a very old industry, with a lot of legacy and process that you cannot understand why they are, but it's because of legacy and use. They are used to work in certain ways to 50 years ago, and they don't change. But the industry is about to be disrupted due to automation. Not only this one, but this one is so crazy, complex, and manual that we are at the right time and right moment. So our solution is how to provide an efficient and consistent service across the world. Ports, as I said, we manage the full life cycle. So what's our team structure in a project like this? We have consultants, project manager, architects, business analysts, UI, UX people, designers, developers, QA people, security analysts, automation, a lot of things around security due to regulations and things we need to take care of. Just a little bit of technical aspects for anyone interested is our stack is .NET Core. It's a single page application built in React, microservices architecture, hosted in Amazon Web Services with Docker containers, etc., and lots of other cool things. And we basically are the ones defining this architecture and telling the client what's the best approach. Of course, working very closely with them. So I mentioned, okay, let's move on. So distributed team. Why? Why are you're not putting all the people to work in the same office, in the same place? Well, the key is the people on every big project, every big endeavor. It's finding the right people. So you will have a team of 50 people. They better, get along with each other, and that they are good, that they care about what they do, and sometimes the best people and fit for the project is not on the certain location you could be looking. So the key is being able to pick from a bigger pool of locations, and find the best people. And this applies especially on my projects, but it applies in general in data. We are very picky, and our recruiting process is can be quite time consuming and long. So that's it. It's in general our way. We have, I think, close to 15, 12 development centers in Russia, Ukraine, Poland, Argentina for now. So we are used to work this way, like to get people that's available on a project and just work remotely. It's what we do. And our clients are in the US and UK mostly, so we are doing that for our clients. We are working remotely, so we are used to work that way, and we apply it internally. And also to match client needs. So we are going to be developing a system that's going to be used by people all around the world, 24/7 on every port. So, and we are going to be supporting that. So it's good to have team distributed in different time zones and locations. So it's also a project need, and it's very good for the project that it is this way. Like everything in life, it has some pros and cons. It's, of course, there are some challenges in working in a distributed way, not the same office, of course. I don't want to get too much on this. It's typical issues on any distributed team. You can read a lot of articles about this, etc. But, biggest is not having face-to-face chat with people. You will not be able to create the relationship or the bond that is needed to then have certain conversations with someone. You need to gain the trust. And you reach out that by having more and more communication. Of course, if you are in the same office, it's more easy to go, reach out, talk. In a distributed way, not so easy, but it's fixable. There are ways. Cultural difference, of course. It's not a minor topic. For example, Eastern Europe people is a little bit different than South Americans like us. We like to talk a lot in general. We are more extrovert, etc. What I found out is people from Russia, you are more direct. You need to say something, you directly go and say it. We do a lot of, side ways to get to a point. But that's one big one. On the other hand, for example, the Argentinians are less focused. For example, we work hard, really hard, but sometimes we are not so organized and focused as people from Eastern Europe. This is, again, in general. There are exceptions to the rule. Time zone differences, of course. Right now we have between Ukraine and BA, we have 5 hours. Between Russia and BA is Buenos-Ayres, we have 6 hours. Then between Russia, Ukraine, and the US, we have 7 hours. So not only we are used to deal with this because we need to deal with this for our clients, right? So a lot of people in Ukraine and Russia are used to start working at around 11 a.m., etc. We have that flexibility to have a bigger overlap with time zone with our clients. And lots of other issues. So what's the key to success? So as I say, for me, I think for the company, the most important thing is the people. We care about the people, we care about the resources, and we care about finding the best people possible for the company and for the project. And any big and complex software development project or any type of project is about, in my opinion, finding the right people. It's a human endeavor. Okay? So technical problems are just technical problems. You will find a solution, you will get someone to help you, etc. But if you have good people, all the other problems that are not technical are going to be more easily solvable and more easily to deal with. So it means, if you're distributed, it means people in the teams needs to actively look for having more communication. Since you're lacking face-to-face and be able to approach very quickly, you need to force yourself to be very proactive in talking with people. Get on Zoom, get on Skype, talk with people face-to-face, do video. Doing video is very important. So you see reaction, gestures, etc. But it means you really want to, I wouldn't say the word it's force, but to encourage people to communicate more than you will do if you are all sit together on the same place. Tolerance, I think this is related also to cultural differences. Like sometimes it's, you will see some interactions, and especially in written form, or when you're talking, and if you are not put yourself on the shoes of the other person and how they work under cultural difference, that can create a lot of conflicts. things, and I have seen that, and I see that every day. So it's something you need to actively look for and manage properly. Transparency, up and down. What I mean by this is you want team to care about the project. You want the team to drive the project. And so you need to be transparent from the up, from management to get engagement of people, make them aware of all that's going on with the client, with the project, and make them part of that. Like really look for them to, to really want to care about the project, to own and drive things, and so you don't need to be chasing people to do things, right? So it's clearly about engagement. Indeed, it's transparency. If you want transparency from people, first transparency needs to come from you. Okay, that's key. Ownership, it's something that you like. We don't want to tell people, okay, just do this by this time and that's it. Like, we want people to drive things, to care about what they are doing, to add value. Client is giving us a responsibility to solve a problem. And how to solve it, it's up to us. And we value the input from everyone. That's, I think, ownership and caring about the product from everyone on a team is super important. Goals alignment, this comes from transparency too, like everyone being in agreement and, understand what are the goals of the project, why we are doing what we are doing, why the milestones are what they are. Try to understand the needs of the client. It's very important. Client is paying us to do something and solve very complex problem. So we have a professional responsibility and we are professionals in what we do. So everyone needs to be aligned. What we do team building from time to time, like we are doing now. We don't do this every month. It's quite expensive to travel 30 people around the world. So, but in a project like this and the duration of this project, every few months, this is important. And we do regular travel for specific people to specific location for certain specific milestones. So we are traveling a lot. I have been traveling a lot. Darster has been traveling a lot this year. So, and this is common in DataArt in most projects. This one too. Okay. So, talked a little bit about the project. I'm gonna switch to talk a bit about Buenos-Ayres. If someone doesn't know where Argentina is or where Buenos-Ayres is, it's like here. That's Buenos-Ayres. We are very down south of South America. Just in case you didn't know. A little bit about Argentina and the city. We are 40 million people in Argentina. 3 million lives in Buenos Aires, the capital. 13.5 million live in the capital and surrounding area. So we have a very concentrated population. We have the 8th biggest country in the world, but almost half the population lives in a very tiny area. So our country is mostly empty. But then it means a lot. Like we have a very diverse culture. For example, myself and everyone I know, we are all descendants from people that migrated from Eastern Europe or Spain or Italy, Russia, Ukraine, Germany during 20th century. So all our grandparents, great-grandparents are from here. For example, my grandmother was from Kiev, my great-grandparents from Germany, then from Poland. So I'm a mixture of like here. We have a big and very active cultural life in Buenos Aires, lots of shows, theaters, etc. It's quite interesting. We have a lot of universities and very renowned ones, especially in South America. We have the most important one. That takes us to why there are a lot of IT companies in Argentina and in Buenos Aires in particular. So we have Accenture, Global Logic, and 100 more companies. So there is a big pool of a lot of professionals and engineers like working in the industry. So it's a good place to go and put a company. And there is a big startup ecosystem. So we have different weathers. So usually in the north is hot, in the south is cold. Some points of interest. We have Patagonia, Iguazu Falls, Ushuaia, we have ocean, mountains, you can ski, you can surf, you can do a lot of things. It's a big country, a lot of geographical differences. We are near Brazil, Chile, Peru, etc. And we have lots of meat and wine, which is usually what most interests people when going there, to be honest. Yeah. So Buenos Aires office, some history. So DataArt at some point 3 years ago was scouting South America to see, okay, we need to diversify. We don't have an office in the same time zone as most of our clients. So they went through Mexico, Peru, I don't know what else, and then Argentina. Who are these guys? I will explain why. So DataArt at that time decided to acquire the company I was working for. It was a small consultancy firm based in New York, and we were 7 people in Buenos Aires doing development. So they decided to acquire, of course, the company in New York, but the people that were in Buenos Aires, we became part of DataArt. That's how I joined it. So who are these guys? To be honest, I was not looking for joining DataArt. DataArt came and bought our company. So at first, I never worked with people from Russia, from Ukraine. I don't know them. I don't know their language. It's a big company. I was working at a small company. So at first it was not easy, but then you know, we started working together and you start knowing the company and the culture and the flexibility, and you know, it's very transparent company, flat company, and here I am 3 years later. I love the company. Like, I don't want to ever change the company. So I thought it was worth mentioning. Like, I didn't choose to work here, but I chose it. It's great. So Argentina was chosen as then the location. We already had 7 people there, and also management doing the scouting decided, okay, there is huge city, lot of resources, lot of people, a lot of university. In general, English level of people in Argentina is really good. You learn from school, primary school, you learn English, so we all have a very good level. And then we started hiring great people back then in 2014. So now we are around 50 people and keep growing. It's a development center, and we also have a back office, what we call back office positions, HR, public relations, finance, etc. This applies in general to DataArt in every office. As I mentioned, we take our time to hire people, like our recruiting process not easy. So that has created also great reputation in Argentina. Like, market is hot, there is a lot of demand, and people start learning, okay, data is hard to get, it's very interesting, very challenging. So people really want to apply and work with us, which is really good, and it's a differentiator in the market. We have a great office in the most central location in the city. We have a barbecue griller. That's also, I don't know if anyone knows what a barbecue griller is, but we do barbecue in the office almost every week. Yeah. And we are doubling our space in December, basically getting another office in the same building. So hopefully we can double the amount of people we have. So talking about relocation in DataArt in general, we have a policy like people can work from any office in data. Okay? So someone has a desire to move to some office and work from there, it is possible. Could be for a couple of months. For example, now it's usual for people from Russia or Ukraine, some want to move to Buenos Aires and escape winter because it's summer there. Yeah, so you start seeing the applications of people, okay, we want to go there and go to the beach, etc. Or permanent could be. We have had some relocations due to project or because people want to live there for a year or two and we can accommodate. So there are some exceptions, of course. I mean, your project needs to approve. There are some projects that due to specific requirements people can or cannot work from certain locations. So you need to check that. Or due to time zone, so you need to check that always, but the possibility is there. Process is easy. Pick destination, talk with people about the city, the culture, some specific about how to rent an apartment, or how easy, how expensive it is, or whatever. Talk with your project manager, talk with people from HR where you want to go. Continue talking with more locals, asking more questions. You can do arrangements and you can fly where you want. So it's not very complex if you want to really relocate. Of course, if it's permanent relocation, you need to check that there are different types of visa. It's not a temporary thing. You need to be, legally registered to work in a location. For example, in Buenos-Ayrese, it's required if it's more than 3 months, you need to get a visa for working for a longer, but it's easy to get. It's just some paperwork. Okay, and I think that's it. And now if there are questions, I can answer them. Anyone interested? Thank you. Feel free. Someone wants to come to Buenos Aires? Yeah. Depends how you ask, but I would say it's spring and summer. Sorry? Not warm ocean. No, it's not like Brazil. Brazil has better beaches than Argentina. But you will be near Brazil. Yeah. Oh. Sure. Thank you. No, solution is, I mean, what I mentioned. It's not. There is no silver bullet. There is no one solution. So it's about this. You need to find really good people, and you need to be, for example, making sure that people is playing nicely with others. It's on a regular basis. You need to make sure people is communicating regularly. That they are not hiding and starting their day and no communication in a day or on a week. It's key that people really actively and proactively communicate with their teammates. This is key. Tolerance, transparency, then tooling. Yeah, you need to facilitate tools for them to have really good. In general, it's Skype, but there are better tools. Like we use Zoom every day, like for everything. So we do video. Doing video is very important. Of course, there are more than this, but people need to. Okay, we have meeting scheduled. So if there is a meeting, please attend at the time it's meant to. If you're not going to be attending, then let your team know about that in advance. So it's key. This is all about communication. It's all about it's not super complicated. It's not. It depends on the project. So there are projects where some clients come and say, okay, we want all project communication to happen in this tool due to compliance. For example, in this project we are using Slack. I don't know if you know Slack. We use Slack all the time. plus Skype, plus Zoom, plus email, plus whatever is needed. So, welcome. Sure. Sure. Sí. Repeat the first question. What? So, Spanish, I use it in the office when talking with the colleagues near me, but for example, myself, I'm all day speaking in English. Like when talking with people from Russia, Ukraine, Poland, and the US, speaking English all day. Sometimes I continue speaking in English even with colleagues, it's unconscious. And yeah, main communication with our clients is in English. So I would say it's an advantage to have really good English level in IT in general and the clients we work. For example, we don't have clients in Buenos-Ayrese. We don't have clients. If we are planning to have clients, I don't know, in South America, then it will be a benefit because you can have some certain conversations more informal in native language and you can create a relationship and a bond that it's going to be easier for a native Spanish speaker, especially more on the cultural side rather than just the language. It's it's the way we communicate. For example, when we start a meeting, we could spend the first half hour talking about nothing related to the topic of the meeting. That's what we do. Yeah, we avoid going to the point. Sure. Yeah. I would say naturally. So my first job was as a mobile developer for Palm Pilot applications, for example, 15 years ago, but in a startup. And I always was like curious about not give me just the task, but driving product and being involved and having a vision of everything that's happening. Early on all my engagements, I had to deal with clients and keep them up to date. So I was doing team lead, tech lead, architecture, plus project management. And as I grew and got on more and bigger projects, and in my career, I got more and more interested in management because in the end, what I found is that technical problems are just that are hard. Most of them are hard. Some of them are hard, but what's really complex is dealing with people, with how you manage a 50 people project. It's really hard and it's a bigger challenge. And I don't know, it just naturally happened. I started. Also, I was curious about, okay, why we are doing what we are doing, why the plan is this, why the milestone is that, and got into that and start being very opinionated on that and always want to get myself into that. So that's how it naturally happened. Not that I started and say I want to be project manager or delivery manager then. In fact, before DataArt, I was not delivery manager. So I was director of engineering of this small consultancy, managing all developers and some projects. And from one day to the other, okay, you are now delivery manager at DataArt. And I had to learn what it meant to be delivery manager. So far, I have survived it. I'm still here, so I think I'm doing okay. But it's not that my goal was always get into management or delivery management. It just naturally happened. I'm still interested. I'm a geek, and I like coding. I like reading about technical stuff. I want to get involved in architecture, etc. I still do it. So this allows me to. Sure. Oh, good question. I don't know. Let me remember. Can you hear? Yeah. Transparency. You have a team of 50 people. You need to split the work. You're having conversations with your client about certain very aggressive milestones, and a lot is going on that is defining what in the end people will be doing on their work. So by transparency, what I mean is we are very transparent and very open on why we make the decisions we make at the management level with everyone in the team. Okay, and we are very transparent because first we try to proactively communicate what are the plans, not only in the next month, but what's our roadmap a year and a half from now, why are we making the decisions we're making, and we are involving the team in those decisions. So we are very transparent. We allow for input from everyone in the team. Okay? So we expect the same from people, to be transparent if they have issues, they have some problem with someone, etc. They can come to us and freely speak about, and we will try to solve whatever issue. So if you want to, your goal is to increase engagement of people and make them take ownership of the project and not just get a task from Shira, do it, mark it as done, and go home. You need ownership. And for that, it's about transparency, it's about alignment on the goals, etc. You really want people that is engaged and adding value, okay? Because you cannot solve everything. You depend on everyone on the team. I don't know if I answered your question, but sure. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Um, Good question. So I mentioned a few about the way we approach a problem. Let me think about some more. I mean, maybe Lars can help me. You from the other side. Unfortunately, he continued. Yeah. I don't know. For example, cultural difference between us and people in the States. It's I don't know. In Argentina, our vacations are sacred. Like I'm gonna take 2-3 weeks vacation. People in the U.S. maybe if they are lucky they take a week, but they are workaholics in general. So sometimes it's hard to explain to them. I'm taking 2 week vacation straight, like not 1 week and maybe in 6 months another week. So it's those little things that then it's hard to explain why this. And like there are ton more that I have present right now. Welcome. Well, my day, at least half my day. But because I'm involved in several projects and I'm in a management position, it's more common to be spending a good part of your day in calls. I hope developers are not doing that and they are actually working. But sometimes they are in a lot of meetings. Anyone else? Thank you.